Welcome to the Solopreneur Academy Podcast. This is a podcast for entrepreneurs who want to make more impact and income in less time. I'm your host, Megan, and throughout each episode, you'll learn how to create the lifestyle and legacy you want as you grow. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Solopreneur Academy Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you all about how to schedule your business while being a working mom, aka you've got kids at home, you are working full time, you're trying to build your business on the side, and I want to talk to you about how you can do it all within this episode. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about some mindset shifts that you can use, and I want them to help you as you grow into your business. And then we're going to talk about how to use your time in extremely valuable ways. So first and foremost, we're going to do the front end and the back end of your business, just like all the episodes in this mom series podcast. I'm doing like a mom series, and this is the third episode in it. There's kind of a fourth episode where I talk about maternity leave, which is episode 109 if you need it. So when we are talking about how to be a working mom and build your business, I want you to know that this is the majority of people who are in my programs. I would say over 40 to 50% of my clients are working full time, have kids at home, and are building their businesses. So I want you to know that if this is you, this actually makes you one of the most effective entrepreneurs ever. For me, one of the things that my dad always used to say to us when we were growing up is, if you want something done right, ask a busy person. And you, my friend, are probably a busy person. So when we're thinking about being able to work in between nap schedules, being able to work with your full-time job, childcare, school schedules, evenings, unpredictable lifestyle, you are not going to pretend like you have unlimited time. You are going to become the most productive, effective worker ever. And again, I think that's why a lot of people are like, make more in less time. That sounds solid. That's why the majority of my clients are in this category. And I want to talk you through how I help them to get it done. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to compartmentalize like a boss. For my clients that do this, and they have very, very, very structured systems and routines that they use to run their business and their lives. This I have found can be the most helpful, and it gives you time so you can be fully present with your work, fully present with your business, and fully present with your life. But in order to do that, you gotta compartmentalize. When we're thinking about your work schedule, you want to make sure that you're able to fit this in a really compact, focused time blocks. For me, when I started my business, I was still teaching full time for my first year. So from August of 2020 all the way through July of 2021, almost a full year without a month, I was able to run both things simultaneously. The way that I did that is I had to remove any extra distractions during my workday. I would plug my phone in and I was productive. When I was thinking about my regular work, I had to be insanely judicious with every waking moment. I needed to make sure that all of the work that got done for my full-time school teaching job was done in very select times. This meant that I was usually doubling down in my work hours. I was grading papers on the playground. I was making lesson plans when I was covering lunch. I was doing like double the work in little pockets of time. That is going to be your key. How can you get all of your work done in the time that you have allotted, or even less? It's because a lot of you guys might be working a traditionally 40-hour job, 40-hour a week job, but a lot of times you can create more output in less time if you use your time well. I'm not saying and advocating for you guys to go in and just like putz around and not do your day job. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that you've got to learn how to use your time really well within that day job. So that's what you're going to do is you're going to learn how to compartmentalize and get really effective with your day job. Now, most of my clients that are starting their businesses have been at their day job for quite some time. They know the expectations, they know the requirements, and I help them to create systems and schedules that work in their business hours and get their work done in a faster amount of time. They tell me, here are the times, here's some flexibility I have. And we're able to figure out what that schedule looks like for them so that they get their work done in those work times. Then what you have to do is you have to be extremely clear about what output you are doing to get the highest return on your business. You want to be able to be focused on your business and you want to be able to say, okay, if I check these boxes, I'm going to bring people in. That's what I like to call return on your investment activities, ROI activities. You want to know the things that move your business forward in the most efficient way, and you want to be able to do things in the most efficient way possible. This is why the systems I teach can be really, really helpful for people. So, what I would recommend is if you are running your business and you're working and you've got kids at home, you figure out two outputs that you want to track and understand if they're working that will bring in the most revenue. There are two things that you want to do. You want to be marketing one to many and have something consistently going out so you can have a presence that makes sure that you're not marked as AI. You actually have content that's creating know, like, and trust, which is people getting to know you, like you, and trust you. I recommend to my clients doing 3 posts a week. And the way that I teach it, for me personally, I like to batch out my content, and I highly recommend this for anybody who is a working parent that's a solopreneur. I would highly recommend you batch out your content. And here is why. When we think about the job of marketing, right? If we were to put marketing as a something that a non-solopreneur is doing in a corporate job, they would have a graphic designer, a copywriter, a social media strategist, a CMO, and a even a VA that's going to be scheduling out posts for that business. You are a solopreneur. You are an army of one. And when we think about that within your business, you have to use your time really, really strategically, which means that you can't be thinking of a post day to day. For you to think of like, okay, it's a Tuesday, what the heck am I going to talk about? Is one of the least efficient ways for you to run your business because you are going to be you're going to be again, inspiration can be taught, but we are not going to be inspired every single day. I don't know any human that is just inspired every day, nor do I know somebody who is able to switch their brain to different tasks quickly. On average, I think in order for you to go from task to task, takes about 15 minutes for your brain to even think, okay, here's what I'm doing next, here's what we're moving forward with. So you really, really, really want to make sure that you're using your time, energy, and skill set well. And that's why I have my clients batch it. They start out as a CMO, they think of an idea or topic that relates to an intangible pillar they have for their business for the week. So they've got a theme of the week, if that's how you want to think about it, that's related to something that's valuable that they do. So they could have a theme of the week being like time management, confidence, burnout, work-life balance. All of those things are ways that they focus their marketing for the week. And then they write a post getting people to know them, which addresses their cold audience. Then they write another post that gets people to like them and gives them a tool that's for their warm audience. And then for their hot audience, they give a testimonial to build trust. Know, like, and trust, check those boxes, get out your posts quickly and efficiently. And when you theme it, it actually helps your online SEO, search engine optimization, by using the same words over and over again. And it's a lot easier to think through, right? So that's what I have them do. And then in the little pockets of day that they have, They are batching and scheduling out those posts. So the marketing checkbox done in one day of the many a week. And then what they do is every day, they're responding to people and connecting with real humans and talking about what they do and how they could help them. I have my clients create three different kind of avenues where they get referrals from one and referrals from acquaintances, friends, and family, referrals from businesses, and then a way to connect with new leads. That's what I have people do within Foundation and within the mastermind too. And I have them talk to people for 30 minutes at the beginning of the day and then 30 minutes at the end of the day. This signals to any algorithm from LinkedIn to TikTok to Instagram to Facebook that you are not a robot and you are actually engaging with your audience, which creates engagement and reach for your posts. So you want to be working smarter, not harder. Those are the ROI activities. And you want to be talking to people, guiding them towards consults so they actually become clients. You have very, very limited windows. And what I would do is I would habit stack this and put this with another activity that you're doing daily, which could be like during your lunch break. Again, you are going to be our productive powerhouses within your business. You're going to need to use every minute to your advantage. And when you're able to compartmentalize those things, it can be really, really helpful. Then, when you have that 30 minutes of response time at night, I want you to literally set a timer and actually respond to people, do any admin work, double check to make sure that if you have any comments that need to be addressed on your post, you address them, and then you turn your brain off from your business. Again, this is why compartmentalizing is such an important skill. You are most likely established at a career that you've been at for a few years, and this is a new thing that you're going to be learning the skill set of doing marketing, managing leads, and of course, sales and planning as well. But for you, you are learning these skills as a first time entrepreneur. Know that it's going to take a little bit, but I want you to be able to say, here is my business time. I've got these minutes that are allotted for my business. And the way I like to frame it for my clients is it's like a 60-minute social media strategy. They've got that for 1 hour a week. And then they have the messaging people takes up around at most 5 hours. If it's less, that's totally fine. So it's like, I want you to have 6 hours for your business. And then we check the box and then you move on to be present with your family. And that's the way I like to think about things within my business. For me, if I get my work done, I write out my posts, I make sure everything is ready to rally, and then I check out and check off. I am not thinking about my business. I trust myself and I trust my business that those things are going to work for my business. If they're not, I get feedback on it immediately and I change my strategy. But when I'm applying my strategy, I am focused, I am diligent, and then I can go and be present with my family. So I want you guys to be focusing and compartmentalizing within your businesses to make sure it is working for you. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to be thinking through client delivery. That means the actual hours that you're coaching. You want to make sure, or whatever service you provide, it doesn't have to be coaching. But for my clients, once they've got the business time checked off and they're checking in and doing those things, what I have them do is they plan out their coaching hours. You want to make sure that you're very clear about it. You've got very clear client expectations. And I would be very clear about what boundaries you have for your clients. So I would not do a lot of contact outside of the calls. I would focus this more so on like, hey, make a list. And then when we meet, we'll talk about it and address it immediately at the beginning of every session. That clear communication can be really, really helpful for you. And it can also be flexible so that you can kind of move this around with your day-to-day life. And if you have a sick kid, if there are things that need to pivot, you can have that flexibility with your clients. And they've got that transparency, that communication that you just want to be communicating and transparently explaining what they're going to be getting when they have your offer. And the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to under promise and over deliver. You don't want to over promise and under deliver by saying, I'll be available for you at all times. I'm going to be here for you. You want to make sure that you are actually keeping things really, really simple and you're not overcommitting to things that you can't deliver on. I used to think that like I wanted to people please so badly and I wanted to make sure that like I was like, yeah, I'll respond to you at any time. But then I physically wasn't able to do that with the hours I had in the day with the lifestyle I desired. I didn't want to be working 80 hours a week. I physically couldn't do that. And I also was like, in my business and in my life, that's not the kind of business I wanted to run. I wanted to have a business that created the work-life balance that I was seeking. And I know that's what you guys are trying to create too. So that's what I want you to do is I want you to think about, okay, if this is a part of my life and this is a part of my business, I want to make sure that I've got really clear expectations for client delivery. If they have to reschedule, I might have times available, or we can just push back their calls a week. But that's what I would do with my clients is it's like if we missed a call, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to try and get you in on a Saturday morning. I've seen that for my clients before. Keep your life as a boundary, have your working hours that are set, and then I would just push those calls back if you need to. Now, there are always extenuating circumstances where somebody might need you in a pinch, and that's okay. But I want you to know that you don't have to overcommit and overextend yourself in order to have happy clients. You just need to communicate clearly and set clear expectations, okay? So that's going to be really important for you here. Now, one of the cool things that you're going to be doing is as a service business, as a service-based business owner, your life is a part of your brand. So you can showcase, especially when you're talking to people online, showing you in the car, showing you maybe at work and eating lunch. These are all things that are actually really inspirational for your audience to see that, oh, this is a person that can do it all. They are extremely productive, they are efficient, they are effective. I want to work with this person. Your life is a part of your business, and I want you to be able to utilize that even for your marketing. It's actually going to build a lot of trust with them because a lot of times, if you are a parent and you're working, you might be working with working parents, and that's going to be able to be so evident in your marketing. I have one of my clients, she will do videos in the car in carpool. And it's so inspiring to be able to watch her and be like, oh, I am the kind of person that can do it all. It feels very strong, very powerful. And you can do that too. Even when you're building your business and you're going through and you're like actually talking with people, you are actually positioning yourself in a really powerful way. So, I want that to be a shift that you have in your mindset as well. When you are also thinking about like building your business and being flexible, a lot of the last few podcasts I was talking about creating a really flexible business that works in your day-to-day life. So I want you to know that there are going to be seasons where you're going to have pivot plans. Your kids are going to get sick and you're going to need to work from home. You are going to have seasons where you might have kids going on vacation that you're going to need to pivot. You might have times when you something unexpected happen. Like one of my clients, Sally, her house had a flood and they had to move to a hotel for, I think it was 2 months. It was a long time. And so for you, this might be a situation where you need to be able to be flexible, have a sick plan, have an unexpected pivot plan, and have a plan for expected like holidays and seasons. But those are the kind of things that you want to be setting up and have in place so that you're ready to go and making sure that you actually build a business that like works for your real life and making sure that maybe you have a minimum viable business plan that you follow during that time. So for instance, if you've got a sick kid situation, maybe we have the post scheduled out, but you don't send DMs. That's okay. If you have a situation where you are going on summer vacation and you know that you're going to be traveling, making sure you batch maybe 2 to 3 weeks of content. Right now, I'm batching out all my maternity leave content for 14 weeks. That is doable. And you just want to be looking ahead. This is why you are like typically my productive powerhouse clients is you are looking ahead more than you are looking in the present. You get the system set up, the routine set up for both your work, your business, and your life during the day to day. But then you're able to pivot, you're able to be flexible within those pivot plans. And then you look ahead. You want to be looking, I would say, at least a quarter ahead. and thinking about, okay, how is my business going to work in this schedule? What is it going to look like to be able to have clients during the summertime? Do I need to create a fall break plan? What does that look like? And be thinking ahead to that stuff right now. For me, one of the things that I think is really helpful is understanding that your brain is a problem seeking tool, but it can also be an incredible solution seeking tool. And so for you, if you literally give your brain like a problem to solve, like how am I going to be able to run my business during summer break? One of the things that's amazing about the human brain is you are able to create with your reticular activating system. It's a part of your brain that is actually problem solving, even in your sleep. If you give your brain productive problems to solve, it will give you answers. So I want you to be looking at least a quarter ahead, thinking about, okay, how do I want to be able to pivot my business during these expected moments? What are the goals and the numbers I should be at these certain points? And then pivoting and making sure that you're evaluating strategically so that you actually set yourself up to be a strong working parent. The last thing that I want to leave you with this podcast episode is if you were in a situation where you wanted, so I have some clients that they are like, hey, I'm going to leave my corporate job and I'm going to go full time in my coaching business. And I have some clients that are full-time stay-at-home parents and that want to be full-time in their coaching businesses or other service-based businesses. There is a situation where you do not want to make your business pay for you do not want your business, especially at its infancy, if you don't have very clear ways that you're signing clients, if you don't know where your next client is coming from, when you put the pressure of your life and your finances on your business, it is going to stress you the heck out. You do not want to be stressed out within your business. And one of the things that I have found is that the less stressed I am as a service provider, the better I am at providing my service, the stronger my marketing is. And this makes sense because the polyvagal theory, like I've spoken about in the life coaching podcast, it tells you that when your emotions are high, your intelligence is low because your brain literally shuts off blood flow to your prefrontal cortex. So if you start or stop working, if you start your business with the intent of making some money to bring it in to support your family, and if you stop working with the intent that it's going to support your family without necessarily a super clear structure for how you're bringing in clients consistently, I want you to know that even if you are not in a situation where you're currently not working full time, you don't want to put the burden of building a business or the burden of signing clients, testing things out, being able to be flexible. Again, like I mentioned in podcasts before, if you want to be successful with business, you're going to need to take relentless action and you need to be open to testing things, then maybe not working the first time and pivoting, being able to work that through. And that means that if you start your business like this, you are most likely not going to be able to sign clients right away. You need to be able to set up a foundation, be able to test certain things, and then you learn what your formula is for signing clients. However, if you are in a situation where you have unexpected expenses come up, what I did for my business is I was like, I am going to see first and foremost when I was working full time, I wanted to set aside and save money so that I could go full time in my business for a year. And I was prepared financially, mentally, and emotionally that if I was not able to replace my salary and continue working throughout that year, I was prepared to go back to teaching. I want you to know that if that is a situation where you either have left to go full time or had the intent of it covering your expenses and your business isn't there just yet, that it's okay to go back to work. You can know that you going back to work can be the thing that sets your business on fire because you are not using your business to cover your expenses anymore. And it gives you so much more mental flexibility. It gives you so much focus and it really creates this amazing, amazing experience for you as you grow your business. When you're thinking about creating a business that's sustainable, that's scalable, you don't want to put the burden of paying for your entire life on your business at its infancy. And I don't care if you've been in business for 10 years, if you don't know where that next client is coming from, I would define that as infancy in the way that you're going to be, you don't want to put that burden on it. Imagine that that puts so much stress on your business. And if you have to go back to work, I've had so many clients that are like, you know what? I went full time in my business and I need to bring in some extra money. And they go back to work and then they sometimes come back to their business. Other times they're like, I've bringing in both my businesses are both my business and my career are bringing in money. We are living the dream. My business is easy and simple to run. My career is awesome and fulfilling. I want to have both, and I've seen it done so well. So do not take it if you do go back to corporate, if you go back to a traditional career while running your business. It does not mean anything about you. It does not mean anything about the future of your business. It doesn't mean anything about the future of your career. It just means that you are doing the responsible business owner thing and making sure that your income is met, that you're not putting the burden of bringing in clients on your business before it's ready to. And then you're open, and then you can bring in so much more income and revenue because you are less stressed. You've got your basic needs met, and then you're able to grow. So for you, my friends, I hope this episode was insanely helpful for you. Make sure you look in the show notes. There is a worksheet that goes along with this document. If you are a working parent, I would highly, highly, highly recommend filling it out. And last but not least, for the last series of the Mom kind of crew, we're going to be talking about how to build your business during school hours.
Did you know that 89% of people need to see a testimonial in order to buy? Get my free testimonial template using the link in the show notes, and you'll see exactly how I used testimonials to market my business as it grew to $120K in my first year full-time and multiple six figures every year after that. Thank you so much again for listening, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Solopreneur Academy Podcast.